Welcome to Dodgers Daily. I'm Casey Porter. I'm so glad that you decided to tune in. We have a great show for you today. Cram-packed day. The Dodgers came back home. They took care of business. They took the hope out of the Chicago White Sox early last night with the 4th spot in the first inning. Oklahoma City, they continue to pound the baseball at historic rates. And then beyond that, Tulsa, Great Lakes, and then Rancho, Cucamonga. Rough nights for them. So, hey, it's one of those nights to where you win at the major league level, you win at the AAA level, which are most of your guys that are the next guys to come up for LA to fill in holes. So, hey, that's all positive. But then when you lose in the last three ranks, when you look at AA Tulsa, High A Great Lakes, and Rancho Cucamonga, kind of a mixed emotion. But, hey, I will take that every day of the week and twice on Sundays when it comes with a victory for LA, a victory that they desperately needed, and then your AAA club continues to play very well as well. So, hey, we have a lot to get into. We have a lot to talk about. But before we do that, a reminder that if you would like to help Dodgers Daily by donating, we have a GoFundMe account. Just scroll down to the description, click the link, and it'll take you right to the GoFundMe for Dodgers Daily, and you can donate. Also, if you like this video and if you like this kind of content, click that like button, interact with this video, share it, tell all your friends, and then turn on your notifications. That way, every time Dodgers Daily releases a new video, you'll be notified and you'll never miss a thing. So a lot of great action to get to. Tonygonsolin was fantastic. Will Smith hit a home run. Hey, Davidperalta, quietly, he has been very, very, very good as of late. So has Jasonheyward. So a lot of great action to get to. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get right to it, and let's talk Dodgers baseball. So the Dodgers improved their record to 38-29. They moved to now just 3 games back of the Diamondbacks. And again, I talked about by the end of June, hey, let's be right there within a game, maybe even tied for the NL West. And let's take advantage of the fact that, hey, most services would rank the Dodgers schedule as being anywhere from easier to much easier than the Diamondbacks. So I think if you're within a game, even a couple of games, or even tied, certainly I think the Dodgers would be in really good shape for the NL West. But as we've seen in the past, hey, you don't even need to win your division. Of course, with all the new wild card settings and situations with the playoffs, you know, all you really got to do is make it in. We saw that last year, that winning the division and getting a bye. That not, you know, baseball is a daily thing. You have to stay in rhythm. You have to stay in a groove. So sometimes the time off, it's not like football where you can rest and get healthy, and that actually makes you better. A lot of times, you know, hey, a 6-day off window isn't good for a baseball team because you lose a lot of your rhythm. Now, I know you can have live batting practice and live BPs against pitchers that you call up and throw that have really good stuff. But, hey, just not the same kind of adrenaline as you can get in a game setting. So, hey, just make the playoffs is all you need to do. But, hey, we are the Dodgers. Our goal each and every year needs to win. It needs to be to win the NL West, something this club has done many, many times in the recent past. Okay, so the Dodgers are 3 games behind the Diamondbacks. They are 6 games ahead of the Giants. Okay, and the Giants, hey, they've been playing really good as of late. Matter of fact, the Giants have won 3 in a row. They've won 6 of their last 8. So that is a surging club, and hey, that is a wonderful rivalry. I'm a little bit different. I like it when the Giants are better, not as good as the Dodgers, obviously, because I think, you know, I've said this before, iron sharpens iron. So I think when the NL West is better and can challenge the Dodgers, I think that makes the front office, I think that puts them more in win now mode. We've seen, I think they have a tendency to go real big picture. We just saw that on Sunday when they went with the bullpen game. I think Dave Roberts, as part of that collaborative team, I think he goes big picture quite a bit. So when you have other teams, you know, like right now the Dodgers are in second place, but when you have 2 or 3 teams that are nipping at your heels, it keeps this front office from going too big picture. It keeps them in win now mode. It keeps them in mode of, hey, how can we continue to improve this team, setting up for the playoffs? So, hey, I'm a little different. You know, obviously the Giants are the big rival, but I think it helps the Dodgers when they are better and not just terrible, where, you know, the Dodgers can just sweep through the division and not really have any competition. I don't think that helps at all. Okay, and then the hapless Padres, they don't show any signs. Of course, I've said it a couple of times. They have too much talent. They've had some injuries now that they're dealing with, but too much talent. Eventually, they're going to get hot. And when they do, you're going to want that cushion. We'll see if that happens. I mean, it's already halfway through June. It still is at least somewhat early. They still do have the time to have that hot streak, but as every day goes by, it becomes less likely that is actually going to happen. The Padres still 8.5 games back from the Dodgers and 11.5 games out of first place. But again, hey, one of those teams, all you got to do is get hot and make the playoffs as a wild card. And trust me, nobody, especially the Dodgers, would want to face the Padres in the first round of the playoffs. We saw that just last year. Okay, so the offense, I talked quite a bit that getting that first run is always a big deal. If you don't get that first run and say the first 2 or 3 innings, the tension mounts in that dugout, and you can just kind of feel the press, if it's like the 5th or 6th inning and you haven't scored yet. So getting that lid off early, boy, that was a huge deal. And not only for just getting the lid off early, you got a 4-run lead in the first inning, which, hey, the Dodgers are really, really one of the best teams in baseball. Of course, every team is better when they score first. It's amazing, the statistics of when teams score first, how many more times they win when they don't. Now, I know that in this recent road trip, the Dodgers scored first quite a bit and didn't win games, but that was by and large an outlier. When the Dodgers score first, they win a lot more games then they don't. So, hey, you also had the fact that you got the lid off. So then you also had the fact that you scored first. And then also you had a struggling team in the White Sox that you just put a stranglehold on real early. And you saw, hey, when you have a struggling team like Chicago, whenever you put your foot on their throat early, they don't show a lot of fight. So if you want to know what a team with not a whole lot of fight looks like, that would be the Chicago White Sox last night. Of course, Tonygonsolin was very good. And one thing about him, hey, he went 6 innings, and I've said it a couple of times, and Dave Roberts has hit on it many different times. Really, with the offense that the Dodgers are playing, they've scored the most amount of runs, I believe, in the entire, first in the National League in runs scored, home runs, and walks. So with the offense the Dodgers typically play, of course not every night, but just overall throughout the length of 162, the offense the Dodgers play, if they get 6 innings from their starter, even if their starter gives up, say, 3, maybe even 4 runs, they're going to win those games, at least most of them, because the offense is going to score 6 or 7 runs. And then, hey, I know in the comments, I think Sean hit on this, Jay's hit on this in the past as well. Hey, as far as the starting rotation, I know a couple of comments was, hey, is not having a closer that you define working backwards and working your way forwards and not being able to define other guys' roles from that perspective. Is that affecting the bullpen because it's creating uncertainty? No doubt about it. But I think also on the other end of that, I think the biggest aspect of the uncertainty for the bullpen is the fact that you've had so many injuries and so much inconsistency from the starting staff that, hey, they never know if they're coming in the first inning, in the second inning, third inning. Hey, when are we coming in? What rotation is it going to be as far as the order of guys coming in? So if the Dodgers can consistently get at least 6 innings from their starters, like I say, even if they're giving up some runs, like Tonygonsolin, he was very good last night. He gave up 2 runs, but if the Dodgers get that kind of start, 2 runs in 6 innings, they're going to win 75-80% of those games. So that was huge from Tonygonsolin. It allowed Doc to map out a fairly stress-free set of events and rotation and order to his bullpen. The bullpen was very good. I was a little disappointed that he took Tayler Scott out. And, hey, Taylor just coming up from AAA, that's a good way to get a guy pressing. And I can tell you, I know he gave up the run, but he gave up the double early. And then he had the guy dead to rights at third, and Chris Taylor was caught kind of in a shift, so he had a long ways to go to third base. I have this on my social media, though. Hey, this is one of my pet peeves that the Dodgers do, and they do it a lot. In stolen bases, and it plays a big factor in why, one of the reasons at least, why the Dodgers don't throw anybody out. I think Will Smith is throwing out something like 7 or 8% of the runners this year. Obviously, the pitchers being slow to home plate, that's the biggest aspect of it. But if you watch the way the Dodgers receive a throw and tag, okay, they receive the throw in front of the bag, and then instead of just dropping the glove to the bag and letting the runner just slide right into their glove, they actually reach out at the runner, and that many times allows the runner to get underneath their glove and get into the base before the tag is applied. That's what happened last night with Chris Tayler. Now, yes, Tayler Scott, 5-run lead. He should have just went to first base, got the out. Hey, fine. Yeah, that's what's great for the team. But I'm telling you, when you're a AAA guy, and you just saw Andre Jackson get optioned back down, Tayler Scott, he's been up and down and up and down. When you're in that position, you feel like, hey, I can't afford to give up any runs, because if I do, I'm going to get optioned back down. So when he fielded the ball and looked and saw that he had that runner dead to rights, I can't fault him in any way, shape, or form for trying to get that lead runner, because he's fighting for his life, man. And I get to see Oklahoma City at AAA level. It's a wonderful place to play. Hey, guys are happy, but I also get to talk to these guys. It is such a world of difference between playing in the major leagues and playing in AAA. It's just absolutely unbelievable. So from that perspective, first of all, the guy would have been out if Tayler makes a proper tag. And like I said, I have visual evidence of that on my social media platforms. And second of all, Tayler Scott fighting for his life, feels like he can't give up runs, to stay in the major leagues. So from that perspective, I can't fault the guy at all. And I was disappointed that Doc didn't allow Tayler Scott to finish. I mean, you're talking about a guy that the Dodgers need to give time to evaluate. Hey, you saw the right turn of the sinker and the left turn of the slider. That is a combination that will get major league outs if you can get Tayler Scott comfortable and get him enough performances, to where he can get comfortable. Plus, if he doesn't perform the way that you think he needs to, the Dodgers need to give him some runway so they can see exactly what they have with him before the trade deadline, okay? So that was the one decision last night. I didn't understand it. I mean, why take Tayler Scott out? You could see the disappointment in Scott's face. He wanted to finish his own inning. So tough luck for him. First of all, if Chris Tayler makes a proper tag, you have the lead runner out. Okay, and then second of all, he didn't get to finish his inning. So although he was credited with 1 run last night, okay, tough luck for him. So in the future, hey man, let Tayler Scott play it out. Let him show you the sinker that turns right. Let him show you the slider that turns left. All from a unique 3/4 slot. And let's see what we got with him, okay? Because like we said in past podcasts, this bullpen needs help, and Tayler Scott is one of the guys that can do that. So let's let him show what he can do. Don't take him out, and put in brusdargraterol, which, hey, by the way, brusdargraterol has been a lot better this year. We're going to get into his specific numbers here in a minute, but I didn't like that. I thought that was frustrating for Tayler Scott. It's a situation that'll cause him. We already saw him press by throwing the ball to third base in a 5-run game. When you do that type of stuff with guys that are fighting for their lives, I think it's going to cause him to press more even in the future. Okay, so pitching. All right, ninth in ERA in the National League. Okay, but here's the deal. Here's where you have reasons for hope. The Dodgers are second in the National League in walks and hits per inning. That stat called WHIP. So that tells you, hey, there's been a certain amount of it. They haven't given up an extraordinary amount of hits. They haven't given up an extraordinary amount of walks per inning. So that tells you, hey, they've been hit up. The hits and walks have been down. So there is reason to believe that that you have what you need with your pitching staff right now, especially in terms of the bullpen. And then when your starters go 6 innings, and you get healthy, that things will turn the corner as you go, because I love that WHIP stat, because that just kind of shows the efficiency and how many people are getting on base each inning. So a lot of the problem has just been giving up home run balls, and we'll cover that here in just a minute. Okay, so here's another deal. The Dodgers are tied for 19th in saves with 15. Okay, so, all right, how good has the offense been? Check this out. Let's go back to the offense. I know I'm bouncing around just a touch, but how about first in the National League in runs scored at 340? 340 runs scored. first in the National League in home runs at 115, first in walks with 279. They're second in hits. That's a big one for me because we talk about the boom or bust. Hey, the Dodgers are either hitting home runs or not scoring. Hey, when you're second in the league in hits, that means that not only are you hitting home runs, you're also just hitting the baseball in general. That is an indicator that the Dodgers have enough dynamic elements to the offense to be not only explosive, but also consistent as well. So I love the fact the Dodgers are second in the National League in hits with 545. And then they're also second in the National League in slugging, 460. They're second in OPS at 789. And they're fourth in on-base percentage at 329 and fifth in doubles. So that's a pretty darn good offense. Like I said, hey, starters, just go 6 innings, give up 3 or 4. That I think Doc needs to look at this instead of saying, hey, go out there and try to just hang 0-0-0-0, where it may make a guy only go 2 or 3 innings. Okay, I think you're in a situation where you tell your starters, hey, what we need out of you is 6 innings. I don't care if you give up 4 runs. That's fine with me. Let's say the bullpen gives up 1 from there. That's 5 runs. In a 5-run setting, if the Dodgers just give up 5, I think they win 75 to 80% of those games. I think that needs to be the message to the pitching staff. I think every single starter can hit that benchmark. I think it would relax them knowing that, hey, I can give up a couple of runs, stay in the game, and know that I am really hitting my benchmarks in terms of, the objectives to winning games for the Dodgers. So I really think that needs to be the strategy. Hey, 6 innings, 2, 3, maximum of 4 runs. Hand it over to the bullpen to cover 3 innings. Evanphillips is going to cover 1 of them. You're going to expect a 0 from there, okay? And brusdargraterol has been fantastic, and we'll figure it out from there. So let's get to some of the great action from last night in the Dodgers' big win over the White Sox. Will Smith hit his home run number 10 of the season to get the scoring started last night for Los Angeles amongst catchers with at least 100 at bats. Okay, he is second. Will Smith is an average of 290. He's second in OPS at 914. He's second in RBIs with 35. He's third in home runs with 10. No doubt about it. I don't even think it's debatable. Will Smith right now is the best offensive catcher in the game. Jasonheyward had a 2-hit night last night, which is the second multi-hit game this month and his 9th of the season. He's hitting Jasonheyward is 318 in 7 games played this month. His OPS in June is 848, and this month he has. Okay, so here's the thing about Jasonheyward. Okay, he's hitting the ball very well, but he's acting more as a table setter than he is a run producer. He only has 2 extra base hits and 1 RBI with all that good action. So hey, top lineup guy and or bottom, definitely a table setter, Jasonheyward. Tonygonsolin was excellent last night. He went 6 innings. He gave up 2 with the offense the Dodgers had. I talked about it just a minute ago. Just 6 innings is great, especially if you only give up 2, maybe 3, maximum of 4. Okay, just do that because, hey, that settles the pin down, and then with the offense the Dodgers play, gives them a great chance to win. So a good night last night for Tonygonsolin. He had that slider moving left. The split finger was very good, and then also his 4-seam. Hey, doesn't throw really hard, but when you have that splitter right there and you have all the other stuff that he has, it makes that 4-seam seem a lot harder than it is. And so, hey, the perceived or effective velocity is much more important than actual velocity. And Tonygonsolin does a great job with his mix, right there, 90, but late, and not necessarily on it. He does a great job with his perceived velocity, making it look a lot faster than it is with all of his stuff. JonnyDeluca got his first hit in the major leagues, and a lot of people are comparing him to Ron Cey. They say he looks just like him, kind of plays just like him. Okay, got his first hit at Dodgers Stadium, which, being from Agora Hills, which is in the SoCal area, in SoCal and the LA area, that is very, very special for him. I know his family was there, so lots of exciting times. Hey, take a moment, Johnny. Enjoy this because, hey, this is pretty special. So I wanted to show you JonnyDeluca's first hit at Dodgers Stadium. David Peralta hit his 4th home run last night and moved his average to 265, his OPS to 698. Peralta, hey, he has hits in 11 of his last 13 games. He's hitting 458 so far in June. His slugging percentage alone in this month is 792, and his on-base percentage is 458. So quietly, David Peralta, boy, he has really turned the corner. He's gotten healthy. he is playing really, really good offense for the Dodgers as of late. It was good to see Calebferguson bounce back last night. Hey, he is going to be an important piece to this bullpen. Okay, the high leverage deal hasn't worked out the last couple of times out. He has struggled as of late, but don't forget, he has a 17-game scoreless streak this year. So I assure you, Calebferguson, with all of his stuff, hey, left-handed, 98, you don't give up on that at all, especially when he's shown that he can go 17 games in a row without giving up a hit. So great job last night, Calebferguson, and bouncing back. Evanphillips went scoreless last night for the Los Angeles Dodgers, back to form for him. That's his 22nd scoreless outing of the year. He has been absolutely awesome, especially considering, hey, he's kind of that Where's Waldo guy. He's asked to get the 3 highest leverage outs of the game, no matter when they are, so he has to be ready at all times, and he has to bring that fire hose with him every time he does. So great job, Evanphillips. 22nd scoreless outing of the year. So here's that sequence with Tayler Scott right here. He was charged with a run, but again, didn't get to finish this inning. I got to talk about this earlier. Victim to, the tag play from Chris Taylor that we'll see right here. If Taylor, of course, he's in that shift, long way to go. Then he reaches out for the runner, which allows the runner to get underneath his tag. Then Tayler Scott got pulled out, didn't get to finish his inning. But hey, if you see that sinker right there, that's turning right at 93, and then that slider that turns left, that stuff will get major league out. So again, I believe, look at that slider right there. So you saw the right turn of the 2-seam, the left turn of the slider. So hey, that is a mix that will get a lot of outs for Tayler Scott. The Dodgers need to trust this guy. At the very least, they need to give him runway enough to get a good look at him, because that stuff is good. Brusdargraterol sat 98.7, but the thing about him, he doesn't get down the mound very much. It's almost like he strides out maybe like 6 to 8 inches, so the ball's still quite a ways away from first base. So although his velo is very high, his effective velocity isn't as high as a lot of other guys because his extension isn't unbelievably great. Okay, so he has to use that sinker, because guys will catch up to that velo because the perceived velocity isn't as effective as the 98.7 would suggest it should be. So instead, he goes to that sinker and gets a good right turn to it. He relies more, although he does hit 98.7, can hit 101, although that's that very high velo. He relies more on movement than he does the velo because, again, the extension isn't great. It's very hittable for hitters. If it was just a 4-seam that didn't have, look at that 2-seam right there. That's 99 coming in on the hands. That's an elite pitch. Not very many guys can throw a 99-mile-an-hour sinker that can turn right into the hands of a righty and turn away from the barrel of a lefty. So, hey, that's an elite setup for Brusdargraterol. He's taken some fire from Dodgers fans, but, hey, try out an ERA of 191 this year. So, Graterol, hey, when you talk about Phillips, okay, Calebferguson has been, other than this last recent stretch, has been fantastic. Then you talk about Graterol, who's been very good. So again, hey, the pieces, again, I will say this, Dave Roberts said it as well. I think the pieces are there to have the bullpen that you want. Just got to get it all going and get some momentum headed in the right direction. So I wanted to show you what I was talking about. Taylor catches the ball. Look how he reaches out to the runner, and because of that, the runner, Vaughn, is able to get in safely. If Taylor just right there just drops the glove in front of the bag, that runner is way out. And here's the thing, I talked about that a minute ago. Tayler Scott fighting for his major league life. He's trying to put up zeros to stay on the big club. So there is no way I can blame Tayler Scott for wanting to get the lead runner out in that scenario. Although it was into his shift, Taylor had to go a long ways. You had a 5-run lead, and hey, you can give up that 1 run. It doesn't hurt the team at all at that point. So the right play was to go to first base. I get all that, but if you're Tayler Scott, I'm just saying I can't blame him for wanting to put up a zero and fighting for his major league life. If you remember, the Oklahoma City Dodgers scored 24 runs on Sunday. Well, they scored 17 last night, and they scored 9 in the first inning. They scored 9 in the first, 1 in the second, and they scored 3 in the sixth, 3 in the seventh, and 1 in the eighth. Who you're seeing right here is Hunter Fiducia, young man, good little flat swing right there. Good, tall, long, lanky catching prospect. Very good player, very good stroke. He's very, very good defensively. He's a big target behind home plate. He's a guy that has a really chill mentality. I always talk about that. He's that guy from Louisiana that just kind of has that laid-back personality. And he even says, hey, sometimes I need to be a little bit more fired up, and shoot a little bit more adrenaline into the pitchers. He'll tell you that. But I like the fact that he has that chill mentality, because I think in the big moments, a lot of these, especially relief pitchers, they run pretty hot. We saw Juan Murillo yesterday with his 100-mile-an-hour fastball and the 2 times the bench is cleared with high Great Lakes. When you get these relievers, sometimes they're hot-tempered, they're very high-strung, they run hot. So having a chill personality in Hunter Fiducia with a big target that catches the baseball very well, I think that's very important. And also, hey, Hunter Fiducia, very durable. As you look at his stats the last couple of years, his offense actually gets better as the season goes on. So that just shows you how tough he is, how durable he is. And I can tell you for a fact, he is one of the most respected players of any position in the entire organization. So, hey, last night, again, Oklahoma City, a huge night, 9 runs in the first inning. They scored again 24 on Sunday. So check this out. In their last 8 at-bats, as of the end of the first inning yesterday, they had in their last 8 at-bats, they had a 4-run inning, a 2 5-run innings, a 7-run inning, and a 9-run inning. So let me back that up a little bit. When you go back to Sunday's game, in their last 8 at-bats, Oklahoma City had a 4-run inning, 2 5-run innings, a 7-run inning, and a 9-run inning. Wow. This AAA team, they are full of a bunch of good players, and they are hot offensively. OKC was in rain delay last night. They had a rain delay for, probably about an hour. But before that rain delay, hey, my man Wardo from Millbury, Massachusetts. If you follow Dodgers Daily, I am very high on his hit tool. Been a slow adjustment to the AAA level. The numbers don't look exactly the way that he would like, but hey, he had a huge night last night. 2 home runs and a double, and that was before the rain delay. This is his second game in his last 4 that Wardo has at least 3 hits in a game. So, hey, the young man is heating up, and I can tell you, he hits the ball to all fields. He can hit for average. He can hit for power. This young man can do it all with his hit tool, and he is an elite human being. In the offseason, he would wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. He would go work out. After he worked out, then he would go to work for 8 hours. Then after he went to work, then he would come home and he would go to the gym or go to the cages and do all of his baseball work. He would get home around 7 o'clock at night. He would go to sleep and he would wake up and do it all over again. So this young man, he is a great worker. He's a great young player, and he is just a great human being with a great hit tool. Okay, so Wardo, let's watch this one again. Ryan Ward, better known as Wardo, he's 7 for his last 14, 2 home runs, 3 doubles, 2 triples, 5 RBIs, 9 runs scored, 19 total bases. Attaboy, Wardo. Need to change the name of this show from Dodgers Daily to Devinmann Daily. Boy, he has been playing great offense as of late, hasn't he? He had 3 hits again last night. He had his league-leading 24th double right here. He got thrown out. Hey, he had 23 doubles at the time. And when you lead the league in doubles, you got to try that one, no doubt about it. He got thrown out there, but wasn't going to be denied. He got his 24th double on that hit right there that you saw, okay? And he has his average up to 318, his OPS up to 990. He has back-to-back 3-hit games, and he has 3 hits and 3 of his last 4 games. So Devinmann has been absolutely on fire, and he has hits in 14 of his last 15 games. And check this out, he has been on base in 30 games in a row. So hits in his last 14 of his 15 for Devinmann, okay, on base in 30 games in a row. This young man who can play every position on the field, Devinmann, is absolutely smoking hot. Talk about being hot. Jahmaijones had 2 hits last night. He has his average up to 315 and his OPS, yes, 1021 on the season for Jahmaijones. That is fantastic. And Jahmaijones, I said he's very, very hot. He's hitting .424 so far in June, and he has an 18-game hit streak. Devinmann has a 30-game on-base streak. Jahmaijones has an 18-game hit streak. Again, this Oklahoma City team just full of a bunch of guys that are hungry, full of a bunch of guys that are just great athletes, and full of a bunch of guys that are just really, really, really good baseball players that have all meshed together and gelled under the leadership of Travis Barbary, and they are just having a wonderful season. The AA Tulsa Drillers, they are struggling right now, and hey, I've talked about it a couple of times. They've kind of taken their turns pitcher by pitcher of having that one bad performance of the season. Everybody has them, but it seems like, their pitchers, they're all having them all at the exact same time, and it's kind of led to a situation to where the Drillers have lost some games. As of late, they lost last night 9-3 and gave up a 7 spot in the 6th inning. But Jose Ramos had another good day. As you're seeing right here, he had 2 hits, which is his 5th multi-hit game in his last 6 games. He's 12 for his last 27, 2 doubles, 2 home runs, 9 RBIs, 20 total bases during that span. Okay, so, I've been, Jose Ramos, kind of like Devinmann, he's been on this show a lot as of late. That's a good thing because it means, hey, not only is he explosive, where he can have those huge games, where we've seen in the past, where he can have like 6, 7 RBIs and basically win the game by himself, but he has also been very, very consistent this year. So Jose Ramos having a good year for AA Tulsa. One of the knocks on Carson Taylor, I think everybody agrees, his left-handed hit tool is very good. Now, he was a switch hitter coming into this year. He ditched the right side because it just wasn't working out. Left side only, and I think that's going to prove beneficial for him in the long run. Okay, but one of the knocks on him was, hey, you're a catcher, and so that's kind of a position that's seen as one that needs a slug, and he doesn't hit a whole lot of home runs. But hey, I assure you he can hit them, but he just concentrates. Carson Taylor is a good look at him. He concentrates on being just a good hitter that hits the ball hard. If it happens to get up in the air, so be it for a home run. He hit his 4th home run of the year last night, Carson Taylor did. He's big, he's strong, he's very balanced, and he hits the baseball very hard. But again, his goal is not to hit a home run. His goal is to hit a hard line drive somewhere. And so Carson Taylor, good to see him breaking out and playing well and hitting the baseball well for AA Tulsa. This footage is from Austin Brubaker, and he was actually at Springfield last night. He's going to be there all week. Usually he's our guy that covers the Great Lakes Loons, so super appreciative to Austin Brubaker for providing this video. Hey, give him a follow. That's at Austin Brew. That's a capital A and a B. So that's at capital AUSTIN, capital BRU 99. That's at Austin Brew 99 on Twitter. Give him a follow. He is a huge Dodgers fan, especially Great Lakes. Who you're seeing right here is video live of Kevingowdy, who threw a scoreless inning for Tulsa last night. Gowdy signed as a free agent in the offseason. Hey, he's one of those another long guys. He's 6'4". He fits all the equations that the Dodgers love. Hey, former high draft pick, lots of upside. He's tall. He has the big 4-seam, the slider, all of that. Former 2nd-round draft pick in 2016. This is a resurrection project. Again, something that the Dodgers master in. Okay, but again, like I said, long, good stuff. So, hey, we'll keep our eye on Kevingowdy. We'll see how he does in the system. Good play by Yorbit Vivas right there. More live video of Tannerdodson, who went 1.2 scoreless last night in Springfield for the AA Tulsa Drillers. Dodson has gone scoreless in 5 of his last 6 and has 7 strikeouts during that period. If you remember, he was traded for Luke Raley, who is having a good year in the major leagues for Tampa Bay this year, the best team in baseball. So, hey, we'll see how that trade in the long run ends up. We'll see if Tannerdodson ends up in the major leagues like Luke Raley is, and we'll see who wins that trade. Nick Nastrini struck out 8 in 4 innings. He gave up just 2 runs. Nastrini is one of the most talented pitchers in the organization, the young man out of UCLA. It's a matter of, hey, is his stuff in the zone? Is he making good pitches? Because his stuff is definitely good enough. 4-pitch mix. He has the 4-seam, the slider, change, and curveball, and he can land all of them in the zone. Okay, but the question is, how consistently is it going to land in the zone? And when it is in the zone consistently, he is one of the most talented pitchers, not only in the Dodgers organization, but in all of the minor leagues. This dude is good good. I've seen him live several different times. I've got a chance to talk to him as well. Wonderful young man. Struck out 8 in 4 innings, gave up just 2 runs. So, a good outing for Nick Nastrini. I bet if you ask him, though, he'll say, hey, 4 innings, 2 runs. Not happy with that, because I can tell you for a fact this dude is one competitive hombre, man. He does not like making mistakes. Kind of like the Bobby Miller type deal where, hey, that frustration, he turns it into motivation and it makes him better. That is Nick Nastrini right there. Okay, so, hey, good night last night. 4 innings, 2 runs given up, but, hey, the 8 Ks, so he showed to be explosive. Another guy that has been on Dodgers Daily seemingly every day for the last week or two, Chris Newell. I warned you, hey, when I first saw him at Rancho about a month and a half, maybe 2 months ago, this dude is really, really, really good. Matter of fact, I didn't really know a whole lot about him. I saw him a little bit at Virginia, but, hey, just watching his speed, watching his swing, watching how balanced it is, how strong he is, just the combination of all the different things he can do, it was pretty obvious that he was going to be pretty good. So he's been on the show quite a bit as of late. He had 2 hits last night. Unfortunately, it was not enough as the Great Lakes Loons dropped a decision last night, 8-5. They had 11 hits, though, just 5 runs. They actually had the exact same amount of hits as the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers, okay, with 11, but they got outscored 8-5, and that's the only thing that matters. So, hey, Chris Newell, another good night last night, 2 hits, second double with high A, and 11th double overall. And now Chris Newell has 3 multi-hit games in his last 4, and he's 7 for his last 16 with a home run and a double. That's why he's been on Dodgers Daily so much as of late. Ismael Alcantara had 2 hits for Great Lakes, which is his second multi-hit game just this month. Okay, Izzy, the numbers don't look like he would like them to. Okay, the average is down a little bit further than what he would like, but this is a young man. If you talk to anybody in the organization, doesn't matter if it's a manager, a scout, somebody from the front office, a peer, a teammate, somebody who has played with him in the past, they will tell you this dude has massive talent, just really hasn't quite put it together offensively yet, but the talent is there, and that's why he's going to continue to get at bat after at bat after at bat, because one of those situations to where if that talent ever clicks for Izzy, I'm telling you, he has a big upside. So, hey, we'll keep an eye on him. We'll see how his season ends up. Ismael Alcantara. Alex Freeland is another young man who has been on Dodgers Daily a lot lately, and hey, like I've said many different times, as a matter of fact, we saw him hit a left-handed home run off the top of that video board that you just saw just a second ago. I am super, super high on this young man. Longest single in the history of time right there, I think, for Alex Freeland. Okay, he had 2 hits yesterday for Great Lakes. That's his second multi-hit game in a row, and 3rd this month. He's 4 for his last 10 with a home run, 3 RBIs, 3 runs scored, 7 total bases. So Alex Freeland playing great baseball. Hey, F-Rod, Frank Rodriguez may be the most unsung catching prospect in the entire Dodgers organization. He tied into his 2nd home run of the year, and now he has hits in 3 games in a row. Rodriguez, better known as F-Rod, also has 2 multi-hit games in his last 5 and a 6 for his last 17 with 3 doubles, 2 home runs, 8 RBIs, 15 total bases. So Frank Rodriguez, again, maybe the most unheralded, unsung, but very good catching prospect in the Dodgers organization. The Rancho Cucamonga Quakes have been scuffling as of late. They dropped 5 of 6 last week to Modesto. They lost the first game of this series 2-1. Definitely the highlight of the day, though, was the young man you're seeing right here, josuedepaula. He hit his first home run with the organization, 3-2-1 liftoff right there. You just saw it. That is josuedepaula's first home run in affiliated baseball with the Dodgers. Okay, and he also had 3 hits last night that we're going to see. We saw the first 2 already in this video. We're getting ready to see the 3rd one here. There's a good look at the size of josuedepaula. I always talk about, hey, with him, when I see him, I just see Bernie Williams all over again. There is that 3rd hit, head down, good flat swing. Okay, so easily the best night of young josuedepaula's career, the 18-year-old who has great size, great speed, great power, every tool you could possibly want. So, hey, there's a good look at josuedepaula. The pitching highlight last night definitely came from Gabeemmett, who had a good start for Rancho Cucamonga after being the pitcher of the week last week. I love that arm side run, that kind of that. I don't know if it's listed as a sinker. I've not seen StatCast data on him, but it has sinker action to it as it runs back to the arm right there. You saw kind of have that arm side run there. Then you have the left turn of the slider. Then you kind of have a funky looking delivery to it, kind of Tayler Scottish and or a Ryan Sublette type delivery. So, hey, a lot to offer there for Gabeemmett. Okay, and he had a good start last night. He went 6 innings. He gave up just 2 runs, and he's having a good year too. Emmett's ERA on the year is just 2.61. Okay, so far, and this month, just 1.08 in 3 outings. So that's why he is the pitcher of the week last week, because he has been so good. His whip also this month is just 0.72, and his average against is 1.35. So Gabeemmett has been pitching great as of late for Rancho Cucamonga. So there you have it. There's our show for you today. I told you it was going to be cram-packed because there was a lot of action. Again, kind of mixed, but hey, I will take a 2-3 day, although that's a losing record, as long as your 2 wins are at the top 2 levels, which is LA and then also AAA Oklahoma City. So that's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you also tune in tomorrow. Also, fans, hey, if you'd like to help Dodgers Daily by donating, scroll down to the description, click the link. That link will take you right to the Dodgers Daily GoFundMe, where you can help by donating. Also, if you like this video, just a reminder, okay, interact with it. Share it, like it, leave a comment, tell all your friends about it, tell them to leave comments. Let's have another great discussion. I know I've had some good back and forth. I thoroughly enjoyed my back and forth with Mitch the other day about some of the issues, as far as the pitching and his ideas, as far as what he thinks is some of the issues, my ideas. I love those back and forth. That's a perfect war room. So keep up the comments. Let's keep talking Dodgers baseball. I absolutely love it. And some of the thoughts about some of the trades, like with Sean and then Jay as well, they are just absolutely fantastic, because I'm not really good as far as, I don't have time really to look into who might be available for in the trade market, that that's a ways out. So I greatly appreciate all those comments. They fill in a hole, as far as my weaknesses go. So that is absolutely awesome. So hey, the community here is the best of any show as far as the Dodgers go. So keep that up, please. Okay, so as always, I'd like to thank you for tuning in and say, go Dodgers.